You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Folks, the playoff season is here, and the only thing better than the game day predictions are the foods that come with them. Introducing Tums Fantasy Foodball Pool, brought to you by Tums, America's #1 antacid brand, and DraftKings. Each week leading up to the big game, turn football into foodball by building your best game day plate for a shot at winning a share of $40,000 in cash prizes. Inspired by game day bites and tailgate treats, join the Tums Foodball action during this playoff season's most heartburn-inducing times. Visit DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball between January 6th and February 9th to enter for free and select your game day plate before the start of each playoff round. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at DraftKings.com/TumsFoodball. When you feel the heat of the game, don't let the heartburn keep you on the sidelines. Try Tums Chewy Bites with a tasty outer shell and soft center for fast relief of heartburn, acid indigestion, and upset stomach. Check out Tums Gummy Bites, featuring a soft and easy-to-chew format for fast relief of occasional heartburn, acid indigestion, sour stomach, and upset stomach. Both available at Amazon, Target, and other major retailers nationwide. And for more heartburn relief fun, be sure to follow Tums at Tums Official on Instagram and TikTok.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Last year, for a period of weeks during a really special time in Knicks basketball, we pitted Sam Morrill, who is a child about Knicks basketball. I don't think there's anything he cares more about in the world, no animals, no people, than whether or not Mitchell Robinson is coming back. I'm pretty sure I have this right about him. We pitted him against Desus as Knicks correspondent throughout those playoffs. The team got loud. The team got eliminated. The team got better. He got his heart broken because he fell in love with Hartenstein, who's now going to come back and break his heart as an Oklahoma City Thunder team that he cannot beat without Mitchell Robinson, his beloved Mitchell Robinson. Sam, you're unreasonable and emotional about your team, and I think that in part made you suffer in your battle against Desus, who also is passionate and cares, but a little less seriously than you do. He wants to be a big mouth about, I've got Karl-Anthony Towns. He doesn't care so much about whether Mitchell Robinson is giving you guys the depth you need to knock off Boston.
Well, it's just like you to pin two Knicks fans against each other. That's a classic Miami move, dirtbag move. I got no problem with Desus. He's a fellow Knicks fan. Yeah, of course I'm dying for Mitchell Robinson to come back. We need Mitch, man. That you see the lack of depth. Campaign's been giving us a ton of effort, but the bench is a little thin right now. We need the help, man. And yes, Hartenstein broke my heart. He broke the whole city's heart. We miss him.
But why,
he's a great player.
Sam, why did you guys ever think? I got a buddy of mine. He's a Grammy-winning producer who's a huge Knicks fan like you.
Look at me,
And he was literally researching all the different ways that the Knicks can, quote unquote, make it up to Hartenstein. And I'm like, you don't understand. He's going to make $1 gajillion. It's a no-brainer. He's obviously going to take the money. Like, no, it's different. It's different. Like the power of friendship and all that stuff. And the first opportunity he had to take the money, he got the money. Why do you guys delude yourselves into thinking things like that? Like people are going to go against their natural instincts.
But first off, Grammy-winning producer but not naming names makes me think it's Diddy. I mean, I don't know. Could be, could not be. But I mean, why would you not name him? Secondly, why do we delude ourselves? Because it's part of being a fan. The power of friendship thing, look, it's ridiculous, but you can't deny the vibes were incredible last year. I think the vibes are in a slightly weird place right now, but they will make their way back, I think, once Mitch comes back. Mitch is killing me with some of these Instagram posts. I just want him back. He posts like a baby, like the pickup trucks and the lip syncing music and his dogs and stuff. I'm like, just get back on the court, man. We need you.
What did you think of Josh Hart multiple times last week talk about agendas, secret agendas, personal agendas?
I love it. He's a leader. Josh Hart's one of my favorite Knicks ever. I love how he carries himself. You can't knock that guy's hustle, man. He is the heart and soul of the team. He's been that guy. Played 49 minutes last night. He's the best. So I think what he was doing was calling out some guys quietly, but
Which guys?
a little loudly.
Which guys do you think he was talking about?
I don't know. My guess would be maybe OG, because he's that big dog. He's getting the big money on the team. So when he said ego, maybe it's OG. Maybe he's not playing hard enough offensively or defensively. Maybe it's something like that. But
Too many shots.
I would like OG to be involved in the offense more, but just, with cuts and stuff like that. I think OG is a great player, and I don't know. Maybe that's the way he's doing it, but last night, the fact that he said OG got us going, I think that's him saying, like, that's how they lead. Brunson and Hart are ball busters. So I think that's their style of leadership, and I hope it works, because we need OG. We paid him the big bucks. So we're not going anywhere in the playoffs without him.
Sam, I will tell you the same thing that I told Jessica a few days ago. It came up earlier in the show. Mike did it again earlier in the show when he said something about Notre Dame didn't quit as analysis. Sam just gave me as analysis, the vibes will make their way back, and it sucks as analysis. Like, if we're talking about how I assess Knicks basketball, Sam really knows basketball, okay? He does. But the vibes will make their way back as analysis of how I'm going to beat Boston is shit.
Wait, but Dan, like, saying someone doesn't quit is the perfect actual analysis of Josh Hart. That's like, he's not a more physically gifted player than a lot of the other NBA starters in the league, but he is literally someone who does not quit.
His last name is Hart.
Like, that's why he's valuable to this Knicks team, because he's doing everything.
No, but Sam
he's
loves those
Hartensteins. And it's showing up on the stat sheet. It's not
Sam
like
loves Hart.
unquantifiable, but like, he plays hard and tough.
Look, Sam is dry and made of sandpaper. He does not love Hart. He is an acerbic dark wit who is against Hart, actively against Hart. But when it comes to sports, oh my God, his gritty Knicks. But what he needs is Karl-Anthony Towns. Right up until it's him and Brunson taking all the shots, and Bridges is pouting, and some other high-money guys don't play it quite the way Hartenstein does, and then they lose to Boston because Boston's better both times against both teams.
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny that Boston is the team to beat in the East. They're the best team right now. So and guys like Peyton Pritchard off the bench becoming like killers. They're tough as hell to beat. Even Philly, if they ever got healthy, they won't. But if they ever got healthy, would scare me just because of their length. Like guys like Oubre and Embiid and Maxey being healthy, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Orlando scares me even if they got healthy, because they're just so freaking physical. Orlando plays like the Knicks did last year. Like Suggs is such a physical player. Banchero's so skilled. Wagner's a hell of a player. They're surprising. I didn't think they'd be this
I can't
good.
believe you say Orlando before Cleveland. You disrespect
Orlando's
Cleveland
good, Dan.
just because of this Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, but so's Cleveland.
Cleveland's the best team in the league.
Cleveland is unbelible right now. I think if we have Mitchell Robinson, we beat them, but without Mitch,
There you go again. It's infuriating. It's infuriating. I want to fight him in the street. I want to drag him. I've been yelling at him. I've been making fun of him. I say, you walk like Joe Flacco runs. He's an old, stiff Knicks fan. No, this is infuriating to me. You have Mitchell Robinson as the linchpin between championship and no championship. You have him as the most important player in the league.
No, I have him on the most important player on our team because his durability has been a problem. I think some of this anger is misplaced from the Jimmy Butler fiasco, Dan.
There it is.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you should be upset. This is a mess you're in. Is that who's 15? Is that Chalmers? I don't even know.
No, it's my own personalized jersey, Sam. Thanks. Yeah, they brought it over for me.
Oh, my God.
You had to give him the
Really?
I mean,
Vice jerseys are back, Sam. I don't know if you know that. Big deal. Best uniform in sports.
And we recognize Chalmers.
I hate to give Miami any credit, but the Vice jerseys are pretty tight.
Ha! We did it.
No, they are sick.
Yeah,
I keep it real. But Jimmy Butler, that hurts, man. To lose him for maybe nothing.
I was curious on your take about this, and my fear was that you just didn't think about us at all. So I'm glad that we occupy some real estate still, despite the last 2 seasons.
Of course you do. Jimmy Butler has been a stud for you guys, so it must be so painful to have its ugly Kramer versus Kramer divorce. Pat Riley f***ed him. He him. You got to get him some other players. You can't carry that team to the finals on your back twice and get him nothing. I mean, look, you have other good players, obviously. Bam and Hero are looking great. But like for the first run, that was Jimmy on his back. For the second run, it was kind of Jimmy on his back. So the fact that the Celtics get Holiday and Porzingis and Miami does nothing, you got this shrewd Pat Riley who's just sitting there and doing jack shit. Come on, Pat, step up and do something for your team.
You hurt me. I don't have the strength. I'm tired.
We got him Kyle Lowry.
I'm tired. I don't want to fight.
He wanted Kyle Lowry.
I don't want to fight anymore about this. People don't want to hear anymore about Jimmy Butler.
Well, I'm curious because yesterday, Dan, I don't know if you know, the Knicks played a game, and they had to go to overtime to beat a Sixers team that was missing a lot of good players. And I wonder, Sam, take us inside you watching a game like that. Are you an eternal fountain of positivity? Like, come on, guys, we got this. Hey, the Sixers are tougher than you think. Or are you sitting there MFing your TV?
I'm pissed. Watching that game was frustrating because, I mean, look, the Sixers are without Embiid, McCain, all these guys. The Knicks were without Karl-Anthony Towns and without Mitchell Robinson and without a lot of guys. We don't have to go into detail here. But the main point is that's why Philly scares me, because Maxey scares me. I think he is that much of a pest and nuisance, and he is a hell of a player. So, yeah, we're thin right now. I don't like seeing Josh play 49 minutes. I don't like seeing all of our starters play 40-plus minutes. I mean, it's scary that Precious really had to bail us out there a couple times. But, yeah, I mean, we lost to the Pistons twice on our home court in the last month. Like, clearly there are problems that we need to address. We still have a better record than we did this time last year, so I am hopeful. But a lot of it is health, and, you know, Tibbs is not going to play these starters less than like 38 minutes a game. So
it was one lucky peanut punch from Maxey, though. That game would have ended in regulation. And the Sixers basically just gave up in overtime. So, I mean, you have nothing to be worried about.
Well, it's easy to give up when your hometown is chanting MVP with Brunson at the free throw line.
Hold on. How did you feel about Karl-Anthony Towns wearing the Eagles shirt?
I hated it. I thought it was disrespectful. I understand that Towns and Brunson are Eagles fans, but, like, you can't rock a Philly shirt in Philly when you play for the Knicks.
That's what you get when you get Karl-Anthony Towns.
It's a cool sweater, though. It's like the Kelly Green one. Pretty cool. Like, he looks cool in it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I thought that New York or Nowhere shirt he was rocking in the second half looked pretty good, too. He learned his lesson.
Did he buy that at the team store at halftime? Because it sure looked like it.
What, the team store in Philly? Maybe they are selling New York or Nowhere stuff, the way the Garden is packing the Philly Wells Fargo Arena with our fans.
Did you get really mad at him for that? Were you legitimately?
No, I wasn't really mad, but I was like, you don't do that. Don't do that. We love cats, so come on.
He was mad. That's a yes.
I didn't love it. I mean, the Giants, that's how hard the Giants are to root for, though, right now, I'll be honest. I mean, we are tough to watch.
You're bought and paid for because the Knicks give you access now as a celebrity fan, right? You will not say anything that lands wrong in that locker room among anybody, no matter what your opinions are, no matter how harsh your opinions are or emotional about anything.
No, I just said I didn't love it. I didn't love that he wore that.
Teddy scorching criticism from one of the most acerbic comic of our times. He did not love it. He roasted 2024, was the best thing on Netflix on that 2024 roast. He's got an amazing tour in which he's inviting the wrath of the Swifties. He's a tastemaker. He's a rising comedian who's conquered the business already with his tour. And when he gets around the Knicks, he's totally soft.
But Dan, it's a big week for cats having the wrong fandom.
I don't get it.
That's fine.
That's like a Stephen Wright. That was like a thinker. I don't know.
A couple people will get it, and they'll really like that.
There you go.
Soft, Sam. You're soft on your Knicks.
I am.
I mean, the owner has proven to hold a grudge against people that attend those games that have differing opinions.
Dude, I confront when Sam did the South Beach Sessions here last year. I confronted him about it. It's like, how can you root for a team with an owner like that? And he gave me the most political answer.
Oh,
ever.
He's bought and paid for.
I was like, oh man, they got to you too.
No, he just wants to be. He gets courtside. You would sell your soul for courtside.
I love this front office.
Yeah,
and damn it.
There it is.
In 2025, The Knicks are going to make America great again.
Okay, there it is. He's been bought. Can you give me what it is that you think is the best material that can be done around the Diddy stuff? Like it is a playground that a lot of comics are dancing around. And
I had one that got cut from the Diddy thing that I was mad they cut in that Netflix thing that I wrote like the day before, where I said, of course, Diddy couldn't commit sexual assault without having featured artists join in. like we knew he couldn't put out a hit song without a more talented performer. I guess his dick doesn't work unless Jay-Z carried that as well.
And it got cut. Why did it get? What else got cut? There were times I saw you behind Jeffrey Ross. You looked really miserable. You looked unhappy.
Oh yeah, it was like a 4-hour shoot, Dan. It was brutal. I mean, it was a tough. It was like a 250 seat. LA 250 seats, and they gave them all to like industry people who don't laugh. So we were miserable, and it was like a 4-hour shoot. And I was proud that Mark and I did not flub any of our lines. We didn't have to do pickups, but there were comics who flubbed lines and were doing pickups. So I had to watch them retell jokes. It was a lot. It was they cut a line. I did a line on Jeff Ross having cancer. They cut where I said, Jeff, you actually look like a lump, and like a lump, women are terrified to find you in their shower. I thought that was a pretty good one. They cut some good ones. I don't remember. I could look.
We're gonna get the material. He's got it on his phone there. How dare they cut one of the great comics of our time? What is Netflix? Who's doing that? Who's making these decisions?
I don't know. I want to say they're time cuts, but it's Netflix, so they must have just not liked it. I don't know.
Dan, I believe we have a Venmo fine bucket situation here. I think you said Jesus when you meant Marrow. So
buzzer. No.
Holy shit, you're racist, dude.
Wow. So many levels.
Man, you were racist, man.
So what's a fine for that? You have to chart.
Here's another one they cut. Norman had this line they cut that I loved, where Ross is in a tux, and Mark said, "You look like the guy who hands out the baby oil at a Diddy party." I love that one. I don't know why they cut that.
The world is pretty bleak.
Word that you did it twice, Dan, so that's 2 of the same fine.
I'm mortified. We'll get back to that in a second, because I don't know what the fine for racism should be, because I deserve
100.
it.
We'll add that to the list.
Oh, one's Dominican. Let's ease up.
I deserve whatever the fine is. You're going to have to tell me at the Venmo fine bucket. You're going to have to help me do this. But
you have a lot of learning to do, Dan.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you catching me when I was vulnerable by simply shouting into the Zoom sky. That's racist. And yes, that's obviously why I'm mortified by it.
I have the audio now. Let's confirm that this is the mistake that you made.
We pitted him against Deezus.
Yep, confirmed.
You see me pause there, too, because I saw it coming. We pitted him against Deezus.
The there.
Yeah, brutal.
Just trying to find which one.
Brutal. Yep. That's what happened. You can hear it right there. Thanks to Sam for catching me gracefully as he does.
Let's talk about something slightly less controversial. Sam, what's the deal with congestion pricing in New York City?
I don't know, man. It's I will say though, it seems less crowded here. It is kind of nice. It's messed up to do to the outer borough people. I do think it's messed up, but also like this city isn't made for driving cars. That's the other thing. It's like a walking public transit city, you know?
You're perpetually, I would assume, looking for content. The world seems pretty bleak right now. Is there stuff in the news that you're finding particularly funny? Because I imagine wherever it is that you're working on projects and stuff, you're also noticing like real life is spilling through your windows in a way that's daily a little bit crazier than it's ever been, or felt a little crazier politically and otherwise than it's ever been.
Well, how could you not have a strong reaction to the Luigi thing? That was the craziest thing. I mean, that was, we all kind of got it. That's what was so crazy about it, is that he murdered a person in cold blood. And we're like, yeah, I get it. I one thing that bugged me about it was how the news handled it, where they were like, he was a father, the guy they killed. And I was like, that doesn't do anything for me, you know? Like if he was single, I wouldn't have been like, well, luckily he had nothing. That just bugged me. And then it also just bugged me, like, I don't know. I had a joke go viral a while back about not having kids, and every comment was like, enjoy dying alone, which is a strange thing to say. It's like not a very nice thing to say. It was a pretty inoffensive joke. But like that guy had kids. He died alone. You know, like you don't know how you're going to die. I guess Luigi was there. He wasn't holding his hand, you know? That was a crazy story.
That story's crazy, and the other one I've heard Bill Burr being very strong on because it's interesting to watch him wade into some of these waters because there's such a desperation, because people know these healthcare companies are the crime families that aren't going to give you your money, and now we can all go to the internet and say those fires are the fault of the governor because every damn thing is political now. Your thoughts between both that, the insurance companies, and what's happening in California, where a lot of people are very comfortable telling people how they should be managing hurricane fire?
Well, it's new to me. Usually people on Twitter have a lot of humility and they don't weigh in on stuff like this. So it's weird that this is the one they pick. But no, every time this is what happens. I mean, yeah, everyone thinks they're an expert. Everyone is a Monday morning quarterback on a disaster where they're like, this is what you should have done. And look, I one of the weird things is I'm in a viral clip I didn't even know I was in. Apparently Joe Rogan is predicting, he's like, this is what's going to happen. This is what a fireman said. There's going to be a big fire and they're not going to be able to stop it. And it's going to take out a huge part of Los Angeles. And it's this viral clip. And at the end, it just cuts to me being like, shit. Well, I guess I'm just in it. I was on that episode, I guess. And then the best part is Barry Weiss was on Fox News being like, Joe Rogan was talking to a fire expert. And I'm like, me? That was me on that show.
Well, how do you navigate some of this stuff? Because I don't know where it is you fit with all of, it's a small world comedy, and Jeselnik will go after Hinchcliffe, and, there'll be the popular comedians, and there'll be the comedians that make their way in and out of Rogan's world, while Rogan is now a political figure more than a comedian, a podcaster more than a comedian, and may, for all I know, move to Austin because he thought that that's what part of what California and taxes and Newsom he wanted to get away from. How do you fit into that world in and among Rogan, when I'm assuming many of your political viewpoints, I'm assuming this, I don't know it, are vastly different than his?
Well, we live in a country where people have vastly different viewpoints. And I think when you just write people off based on their viewpoints, you're not going to get anywhere in your life. I mean, I think there's a lot of comics who now their whole act is like, if you're not with me, then f you. And to me, that's not comedy. I always loved guys like Conan who you kind of leak as a comedian so people know who you are. But I think when all of your political views are known to the public as a comedian and everywhere you stand is obvious to the audience, then the show becomes predictable and boring. I think that's, if you look at like Chappelle's earlier stuff, like you don't know what he's going to say, and I kind of like that. So I think that everyone leading with politics and everyone saying like that's in their bio now, I'll go to small towns sometimes and you could tell like it's considered rude to talk about politics, And there's a part of that I kind of miss. I think it's not making us more united as a country. And, I think people are going to vote who they're going to vote for. And it's unfortunate. Am I a Donald Trump fan? No, but over half the country voted for him. So I'm not going to write off that whole part of the country. I don't think that's constructive, and I don't think that's a smart move for an entertainer when you're trying to. It's
bad for business. Yeah. But it's also bad for business. I'm not just saying
it's bad for business. It's bad for your comedy. When you start leading with your political opinions, you just become kind of boring and political and dare I say pandering. I mean, I've seen people in New York do this shit where they're like, I think gay marriage should be legal, and I'm like, you're clapping for that? That's the most obvious fucking take ever. Like, yes, it should be so I think
pay the whales.
Meanwhile, I see people do edgelord shit in Texas. Sometimes I'll see them go up and calling people gay is not a punchline, so I see both sides of it, and it's like there are people on both sides who annoy the shit out of me comedically, and I try to remind myself, like, am I being funny? Is this funny? That's kind of the main goal, as opposed to like, am I reaching these people? Like, those people sooner or later will if they just like me for one joke I do, they'll see who I am, and they'll either stick around because they like the jokes or they won't, you know?
Republicans laugh too.
The Errors Tour, it's a new stand-up tour currently on sale, sammorrell.com for show dates and tickets.
I got one question for Sam. Sam, you often will do local morning TV to promote and sell.
It's the great. He can't do it anymore. It's been ruined. He's Ali G. He can't do that material anymore.
I might have a couple in the can.
It's the greatest joke being told right now on morning television.
What's your favorite one that you did? Like that you could not believe you got this one off?
Baltimore was pretty good because it just kept getting worse and worse. And then Columbus was good because I did one in Columbus, Ohio, and the guy just like, he spiraled. He just like lost his mind, where I just kept bringing up they have a human trafficking problem. And he just got really annoyed. And by the end, they kicked me off the segment. He was still angry afterwards. He was like, I don't get what he was doing. I don't get it. Like, I know he thinks he's edgy or something, but like, that was to me pretty funny.
Well, the reason I think it's brilliant is because you're going in and all you're doing is merely not respecting the concept that morning television is sacred. Like, you're just purposely making it awkward for TV people who don't know how to react to someone not playing nice.
Yeah, me going on there and playing nice would be so freaking boring. It would make no sense. I've had to do it before. I went on New York 1 once, and it was pre-taped, so I was like, I guess I got to behave. And then I left, and the woman was like, we thought he would be an asshole. Like, that's why we booked him. So it's weird that some people want it, I guess.
It's dirty. It's awkward. It's all the things you are. Thank you, Sam. It's nice seeing you again. It's always nice seeing you.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you were going to get any money back, and then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now, Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. All so you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now this is taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Billy.
Yes?
You know what we've been talking about all season long?
Smirnoff?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
I knew it. I'm a good guesser.
You are. They are the official sponsor of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. So you already know that it's an official vodka partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59. We're going to be there.
Oh.
Yes.
I can't believe we're by 59 already.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It does, yes.
Yeah, we're old.
I'm old.
Hey, you know what, Stugotz, I was thinking?
Yes.
Since football season's winding down, Super Bowl's coming up, Super Bowl 59, we've been celebrating football all year.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea.
What?
Let's do a toast.
Okay. Oh, wow.
To football.
Really?
Yeah, me and you. Let's toast football.
So just a toast. So we're raising our glasses of Smirnoff vodka
glasses
here.
Up, yeah.
All right, and we are toasting to football.
To football.
To football, everyone. What we love about Smirnoff is that you can get the world's #1 vodka without breaking the bank. This feeling is what the good folks over at Smirnoff call. Billy, you want to take a stab at this?
Yes. Smirnoff Extraordinary.
Nailed it! Oh my
I told you, I'm a good guesser.
Oh my God. And right now, Smirnoff has partnered with Complex, letting fans get their hands on some amazing items handpicked by celebrities, including NFL legend and Super Bowl champion Vernon Davis, for the unbelievable price of $12.99, just like a bottle of Smirnoff.
Oh.
So head on over to SmirnoffDrops.com to check out upcoming drops and check out, oh, Billy, you want to take a guess again? These
Smirnoff Extraordinary
items.
Oh, look at us. What's the website?
It is SmirnoffDrop.com. Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer and may vary by state. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Dan Le Batard.
I'm just here to say one thing. The Knicks are back.
Stugotz.
Tyrese Halliburton, 6 points, fraud. Everybody was like, yo, he's better than Jalen Brunson. He's better than the Knicks should have drafted him. Fraud.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We're going to get louder as we get to Knicks playoff basketball. And
we're going to be that show again?
Well, Cleveland,
Great.
I don't know.
Well.
You want to do it about Cleveland? You want to be a show
Magic.
that rides for Cleveland?
I mean, depends on how the draft shakes out.
Mike,
Did I say that?
Yeah, Mike is in a very sensitive time in his life right now. I don't think we're giving him enough grace. That, sometimes the flicker of the chance is so much worse than having no hope at all, right? Like, you would have been a lot happier had this never been a possibility.
Cam Ward to the Browns?
Yes.
And they just hired Tommy Reese, so now I'm in a pickle. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Promoted him.
by the way, did you guys read that New York Times article on Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
It's somehow worse than you could ever imagine. I'm not talking about the allegations. That's terrible, and it is worse than you can imagine. Yes. But I'm talking about like the field of play and the situation. Like, they got like unnamed, presumably offensive linemen, people familiar with their scheme on that team, to say like, yeah, the protection looked bad because guy was supposed to drop back 8 yards. He was only dropping back 6, and he just never corrected this. There were all sorts of people like, why aren't we just keep Joe Flacco around? It's not a threat to him. Keep Joe Flacco around to teach him the offense. He does not know this offense. They jettison all these good coaches to continue. They bring in Ken Dorsey because of his resume working with mobile quarterbacks. The guy doesn't run anymore. Like, it's a freaking night. It is quite simply the worst transaction of all time in sports.
It's crazy. This is from the same article. His EPA per dropback with the Browns was minus 0.19, according to True Media, which ranks 197th out of 201 NFL quarterbacks since 2000. Minimum of 15 starts. The only quarterbacks who were worse: Zach Wilson, John Skelton, Blaine Gabbert, Jamarcus Russell.
That's a murderer's row right there.
And he's the only name on that list who wasn't on a rookie
Well,
deal.
this is what I would say of this, because you guys probably felt me getting a bit obsessed with this last week, right? Because in some ways, this is more interesting to me than even the Aaron Rodgers disintegration on where body and mind meet on stuff and somebody just implodes. Aaron Rodgers, whatever you think of him now, did that difficult thing better than anyone I've ever seen do it, and then whatever happened. I don't even know how to explain what happened, and he becomes something far different at the end in his late 30s than this story, which I don't believe has any precedent in the history of American sport. A dysfunctional organization that finally arrives at the desperation of expectations. Berries and torches Baker Mayfield, who's trying to play through 17 injuries just to drag Odell Beckham and Landry to 9-7. See if they get the season of great expectations. Then their owner comes in. He's a tycoon. We give too much emphasis to power and rich people. He knows how to lead. He's got some secrets. He's got a history that's all sorts of foul. He asks a man on the street who he should draft, and hey, quarterback's tough to play. Johnny Manziel, you cannot play it. The expectations of Browns football make it so they offer guaranteed money to something that is quite fundamentally selling the soul of a region in the name of football. Hey, we've got this alleged molester and terrible person. Let's give him everything. Let's fight over the right, because we all agree, well, it might be immoral, but he's a top 5 quarterback, and those are hard to get. He made the Texans matter more than they ever have, because they almost beat the Chiefs. They were up 24-0 in that game. That's the best anyone's ever played for the Texans. It's the only time we've thought a Texans team's getting out of the wild card round. Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. All of that short-circuited, and I don't know how to tie how much of it I can to everything that happened with him off the field that made him somebody that an organization tried to work with, and they were dealing with someone physically broken and mentally broken.
Yeah, I don't think it's without precedent, okay? Because keep in mind, there was a physical aspect, too, to Deshaun Watson. I think everyone can kind of understand, like, being away from the game throws off your timing, being at the center of a horrible controversy, that probably has an effect on someone, too, and how they approach the game. But I kind of liken it a little bit to RG3. There are reasons why RG3 ceased being that, and he was probably that initially because of the coaching staff he was around. So I think we should probably credit the Texans and Bill O'Brien for what they were able to do with Deshaun Watson. I think we should look at the injuries. I don't think we should discount the mental toll that all that went around him, but it's not. There are quarterbacks that burst on the scene in that league and do fizzle out, so it's not without precedent. It's just everyone was pretty certain this guy was a surefire lock, elite.
Well, it's that, but also, like, fizzle out is one thing. Blaine Gabbert, Jamarcus Russell, John Skelton.
Be worse than the sport.
Like, that's
like, in this
drastic.
And making the most guaranteed money ever.
In this Times article, like it's
I think it's
fodder.
in The Athletic.
Yeah, I saw the Times. Well, the New York.
They're kind of the same.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah,
Well, just if people are looking for it.
They can find it on New York.
I read it on the New York Times, but in that article, like, we all know the checkered history of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks.
Fuck myself. Sorry.
They're all bad. They're all bad. And he's like the worst. Like, the only person with like comparable numbers is like Charlie Fry.
But this is the part, though, Mike. This is where I say, RG3, get out of here. First of all, that was physical, and the decline can be assigned whatever it's declined to. In his prime, a player in his 20s went from being a top 5 quarterback, and it's not just his body, to can't play the sport anymore.
I actually think the RG3 thing is actually kind of on the nose, too, because keep in mind what RG3 did. He looked at one of the greatest staffs ever assembled. When you look at the coaches that came from that and said, and went to a whiteboard and started telling all those coaches, you're not coaching me right. This is what we're going to do. We are changing the way that I play. And he's looking at Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike Shanahan, among others, telling them that. And that's essentially what this article gets into, is what they kind of did. Deshaun Watson wasn't comfortable doing the same stuff that he was doing in Houston. So I think that there's a lot of ego in play, and it is pretty similar to the RG3 thing.
Did you just call your own comparison, the RG3 one, a good one?
Yeah.
You said you were on the nose.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm defending the merits
Like
of
a minute later, you're like, I think that's on the nose.
I also am.
And I think that would be fair.
I'm tickled by the idea.
Well, we've done like 2 years worth of shows saying that we've never seen anything like this, and we might have.
You know what? Pat yourself on the back. That's a good one.
Mike, it was a good one. But I'm tickled by the idea that you said RG3 stood before the greatest staff ever assembled. Sean McVay and Shanahan and the other Shanahan, and somewhere Jay Gruden's like, and Jay Gruden, and Jay Gruden, and Jay Gruden. Say it, goddammit, say it.
The many interesting things about this are that it is a disaster of a guaranteed contract, one of the worst transactions in sports.
And my resulting game award.
And and was just total soul selling that ends up like contaminating an organization that was already contaminated from the inside. I want to get back to whether or not anybody is rooting outside of Ohio State and Notre Dame for anything other than both Ohio State and Notre Dame losing that game.
Well, a lot of people are rooting to see a big game. And I've seen on the internet the get-in price being crazy expensive. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. You might have missed your first opportunity to hit the primary market, and now you turn to the secondary market, and you're worried because there's all sorts of fees and surprises.
I hate the fees.
It's terrible. Guys, I'm a veteran of the secondary market. It has been a nightmare for me until Game Time came along. And Game Time came along, man, they made everything so easy. I get panoramic seat views, all my Four Nations tickets. I'm going to the Four Nations. That's in Montreal. I've never been to this arena. What am I doing? They don't even really speak English all that much over there. How do I do this? Game Time had me because with the panoramic seat views, the all-in pricing, no surprises. So do yourself a favor. Do what I do. I live it. This is not bit. This is not shtick. No. I've sampled it all. Game Time is the best. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan, because if you haven't, you get a wonderful gift. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Chris Cody, what time is it?
Time! Code Dan. How do you spell that?
D-A-N.
Yeah, not what I asked.
I mean, I don't care what people are rooting for, but hey, you have the floor, Dan. 2 minutes left in the show that I'm on. I'm not here on Friday tomorrow. What do you want to know about Notre Dame before Monday night?
She's being football fan martyr right
That's so brave of you. Dan, you owe $2. We tracked down the fine mistake. I think that's the right thing.
You did it twice, by the way.
You did it twice.
No, that's not a $2. Racism is not a $2.
Well, it wasn't racism.
It's a common
not
mistake.
call yourself a racist.
You made a mistake, right?
It's like I confuse Abbott with Costello.
Let's make sure he did it twice, though. Here's the first one.
We pitted him against Deezus.
And here's the second one.
Made you suffer in your battle against Deezus.
Good Lord. Don't repeat the mistakes of Greg Cody and Lucy. You pay this fine on Venmo.
Just pay it. Just open the app.
It'll be
It's real
interesting
easy.
to see what they do with Jeremiah Smith if they continue to try to play man or single high.
Didn't Texas triple bracket coverage Jeremiah Smith?
I think they just regular bracketed him. Yeah. There was a misleading photo that went viral that was like, oh my God, there's 3 defenders on him, but there was another guy out of frame. So.
Look at all these brackets. And they're like, no, that bracket belongs to another guy.
It was actually 5 people covering him.
I wish Benjamin Morrison was back, though. Sucks that he got hurt.
Which one's that one?
He's going to be probably a first-round pick cornerback. Really, really good player.
You guys do corners well over there. Marcus Freeman.
Credit to Marcus Freeman, man. Leonard Moore, freshman player of the year, going to be starting in the national championship game now.
You guys, the other day on the show, talked about, hey, playoff teams in the NFL should be able to bring back somebody for the big game, right? Who would you bring back for Notre Dame?
Benjamin Morrison. A player that's on the team that hurt his hip in the middle of the season. But also, I can't think of another cornerback.
Jerome Bettis.
Anti-Teo.
I know, because, I guess I would
Joe
want
Montana.
Jeremiah Love to
Rudy.
be fully healthy.
Oh, Rudy, just for vibes.
I don't think they need Bettis. The back room's
Jeremiah
good.
Love.
To beat Ohio State, you got
I'd
to be
say
more
like
physical
Julian
than
Love,
they
but
are.
he's playing safety now,
gotta
and
make
the
him
safeties are really good.
Rudy.
You need a big, beefy lineman.
Rudy.
Billy,
Yes.
you know what we've been talking about all season long?
Smirnoff?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
I knew it. I'm a good guesser.
You are. They are the official sponsor of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. So you already know that it's an official vodka partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59. We're going to be there.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't believe we're by 59 already.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It does. Yes.
We're old.
I'm old.
Hey, you know what, Stugotz, I was thinking?
Yes.
Since football season's winding down, Super Bowl's coming up, Super Bowl 59, we've been celebrating football all year.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea.
What?
Let's do a toast
Okay. Oh, wow.
to football.
Really?
Yeah, me and you, let's toast football.
So just a toast. So we're raising our glasses of Smirnoff vodka
Glasses
here.
up, yeah.
All right, and we are toasting to football.
To football.
To football, everyone. What we love about Smirnoff is that you can get the world's #1 vodka without breaking the bank. This feeling is what the good folks over at Smirnoff call. Billy, you want to take a stab at
Let me
this?
guess. Smirnoff Extraordinary?
Nailed it! Oh my
I told you, I'm a good guesser.
Oh my God. And right now, Smirnoff has partnered with Complex, letting fans get their hands on some amazing items handpicked by celebrities, including NFL legend and Super Bowl champion Vernon Davis, for the unbelievable price of $12.99, just like a bottle of Smirnoff.
Oh.
So head on over to SmirnoffDrops.com to check out upcoming drops and check out, oh, Billy, you want to take a guess again? These
Smirnoff Extraordinary?
items.
Oh, look at us. What's the website?
It is SmirnoffDrop.com. Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer and may vary by state. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
All set for your flight?
Yep, I've got everything I need. Eye mask, neck pillow, T-Mobile, headphones.
Wait, T-Mobile?
You bet. Free in-flight Wi-Fi. 15% off all Hilton brands. I never go anywhere without T-Mobile. Same goes from a water bottle, chewing gum, nail clippers,
Okay,
passport.
I'm gonna leave you to it.
Find out how you can experience travel better at T-Mobile.com/travel. Qualifying plan required. Wi-Fi were available on select U.S. airlines. Deposit and Hilton Honors membership required for 15% discount. Terms and conditions apply.